You're listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast, where you'll learn step by step how to meet and seduce beautiful women. Whether you're looking for one night of fun, a week-long fling, or a long-term relationship. I'm your host, Trip, and the episode starts now. Hello and welcome to another episode of the How to Talk to Girls podcast. I'm your host, Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. Now, on today's episode, what I wanted to talk about is something that's been an ever-evolving conversation in the TripAdvice universe, if you've been listening for a long time. Something that I always think about that is really, really important to being able to attract women and being able to do it without being needy and doing it in a way that's going to be most successful for you. And it's this idea and the concept of abundance mentality. What is abundance mentality? Abundance mentality is the mentality that you know and believe to be true, that there is an abundance of women available to you. An abundance of women. What does that mean? That means that there are women available to you even when it doesn't work out with one. That means that if you ever go through a breakup, even though it's very painful, you know still you'll be able to find someone who is better. Maybe not even necessarily better, but different, but still amazing for you. Maybe you are not succeeding with women and you're thinking, well, this is never going to happen for me. Still, abundance mentality helps with that too, because you realize that there are women out there. Every time you get rejected, still you know there are more women out there. Abundance mentality, abundance mindset. I talk about this in a lot of different areas of personal development as well. Just talking about the idea of abundance maybe in money or abundance in opportunities, right? An abundance of networking. There is abundance in your life all around you, but there's only an abundance if you believe it. The fact of the matter is that it is true. So it's not something that's arguable. There are an abundance of options for you, especially in the dating realm. Yes, that's right. The only argument against that is maybe if you live in a very small town with population maybe 500. So if you're one of those people who are saying, well, I don't have an abundance of women in my life, well, then you're going to have to go to the next big town. But for a majority of you, you don't live in a very, very small town, and so it is possible for you. There are many women out there. So why is it important to have an abundant mindset? Why is that so important? Why do I preach that time and time again? Because I think that when you don't have an abundant mindset, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you are not able to meet as many women. And also, if you don't have an abundant mindset, you're allowing yourself to have a lot of emotional pain. There's a lot of emotional pain in a scarce mindset. You know, guys get really obsessed with one girl. They get so obsessed with her. And I get it. That is, how our brains work. It wants us to mate and to reproduce. And in order to do that, there's these chemicals flowing in our brain called oxytocin that helps us pair bond with another woman, scientifically speaking. So we kind of get this tunnel vision for this one girl, this one woman, this one person that we just find very unique and attractive. And so it kind of, pushes every other option out the window in those moments. But we can actually rise above that. We can evolve. We can have a mindset that allows us to believe that even though there's this one woman who we really like, there's still someone else out there that's possible to be with, to date, to sleep with, to have fun with, to experience new things with, to get into heavier relationships with. There's options. There's options. And it's important to know that, because if you get sucked in with one girl, especially a girl who you get really deep with, you guys have been dating for a long time, maybe she's been your girlfriend for like 5 years, and then all of a sudden it just ends, or she is not interested in you anymore, or maybe the opposite, even you want to break up with her because there's something not good with the relationship. And then you're like, oh God, and you kind of delay on the breakup because, it's just hard. You don't want to go back out there. There's not many women out there. No, she has this quality and this quality. And you start to idealize her and put her on this pedestal without thinking that there's still someone else out there for you. And it causes a lot of pain, okay? I hear you guys talking about it all the time, especially you guys who write on my YouTube channel, the comments of just like your strong desire for that one woman, such a strong desire for that one person, and you can't think about anyone else, and it's killing you. So one of the lessons I want to be giving you here in this episode is not just teaching you about abundance mentality. I've talked about it so much, but there is an evolving idea here because I think about these concepts, throughout the day, and this is what I do. I analyze. I think about what I can do to teach you how to really understand this and how to take this into your own life. And so, abundance mentality, I'm really thinking about lately. In order to have true abundance, you're not going to just sit there and just like a mantra like, oh, abundance, abundance, abundance. I have an abundance of women. There are an abundance of women. There are many women out there. That might do something. At least the concept and you listening to this episode does put that into your awareness, into your consciousness that this exists. But I think the real route to true abundance mentality is going to be if you know how to attract women in the first place. Okay, that's when it becomes the most powerful. You see, a lot of men who are not listening to this podcast, who are not searching dating advice, who are not trying to learn how to better themselves and be more attractive, they don't have abundance mentality at all because they don't even think that they're able to attract a woman. They think that they can just, get what they can get, whatever is thrown their way, whatever comes in their field of vision, that's it, right? This is how a majority of it works for men. Women too, actually. But it just, they live their lives and they don't think, okay, I'm going to go approach, I'm going to go be proactive in this dating life. No, it's the opposite. They're like, maybe there's a girl at work. Maybe there's a girl on the bus that I take every day to work or, the train or, maybe I'll make enough friends and then they'll have friends and I'll be invited to a party and there'll be a girl there. And then, of course, you have online dating, which definitely helps with abundance. I think that does help with abundance mentality because you see how many women are out there and you're swiping and swiping and swiping and you go on online dating. You're like, whoa, I have a chance with all these girls. But really the true abundance mentality comes in when you're like, oh, I'm confident in myself that I'll be able to attract another woman. That's where it's powerful. And I have to say it, this is where it takes work because it's not a magic pill where I can just give it to you and then boom, you're in abundance and you're great with women. No, you got to go out, you got to practice. You got to learn how to converse with women, how to flirt. You got to understand what they're thinking. You got to really be able to tap into their mind a little bit so you can understand really what it's like to converse with her and what she's feeling. That's really taking it to the next level. Okay. So being able to know that you can do that. And of course, if you're listening to this podcast, you might not be there yet. You might not be there yet. You might not be at the point where you're like, well, I don't feel that the confidence and the ability to go out and meet women or have a really good date off of an app or a site. It's like, I don't have that yet. That's okay. Well, that's why you're listening to this podcast. That's why you're taking these steps to get better. And that is the kind of like gold at the end of the rainbow is you get better at it. You get some confidence. You get the skills. You understand how to do this, how to attract a woman. And then the abundance sets in. You're like, oh, wait a minute. If a girl comes my way and I'm dating her and she sucks and I really just don't like this girl or she does something that just sucks and she just completely turns you off or the opposite, maybe you get rejected or something happens, okay, it just didn't work out with her, but there's other women out there. And guys don't really think about that. This is like that famous saying, there's plenty of fish in the sea. But yeah, that's a nice saying and it's good that's out there and people are saying that, but that's not really enough. It's not just, there's plenty of options. Like, well, what good are options if you don't even know how to go out and talk to women? Then you don't have any options. You have zero options because you're not doing anything. You're not taking action. Okay? So I want you to really quickly check this out. If you have a lot of problems meeting women, I got a program that helps you with that. Check it out. Hey, it's Trip Kramer. How would you like to be the man that women are naturally drawn to and command the animalistic magnetism that makes women desperately compete to become your lover? It's not enough to attract her. You've got to get her hooked. And that's why I'm inviting you to learn how to create an amazing abundance in your dating life that will make your friends grab you and demand to know what you're doing differently. You'll learn how to turn a female friend into a lover, how to set up a first date that naturally leads to sex. You'll even learn to get your ex-girlfriend or wife back if that's what you want. This program, Hooked, will get you everything you need to enjoy the sex life and dating life you know you deserve. Go to getherhooked.com to learn how to get a woman completely addicted to you. 100% money back guaranteed. getherhooked.com. So whatever you're doing here, whether it be, you taking the Hooked program or you listening to more podcasts, YouTube videos, and learning how to do this and stepping into this idea that, hey, this is something I got to practice. This is something I got to get better at. Once you're able to do that, that's when the abundant mindset just kicks in, and it's a beautiful thing. I'll tell you a little story how I discovered it. This was years ago. I'm talking maybe 2008. And I remember that I came across abundance mentality, not the concept of it. I knew about it, but really stepped into the actual mindset of it, the real mentality of it in my brain was when I started doing a lot of dating. And I would date a girl for a little while, maybe, I don't know, a couple weeks, something like that, maybe a few dates, maybe a month. And then it just wouldn't work out. Maybe I wouldn't like her, or maybe she didn't like me, and it just didn't work out. I remember after that happened, like it stung. I had this like sting in my chest, like, oh man, that sucks. Like I kind of liked her, or like, oh, that sucks. Didn't work out, and I gotta like find another girl or whatever. And so this would kind of happen, and I notice a pattern, right? You're gonna notice this too, because you're gonna be dating. You're not gonna just find one girl and boom, that's gonna be like you're gonna be dating, you're gonna be having some fun. You're gonna be dating many girls, maybe for a while. And so the pattern that I saw is every single time it didn't work out with the girl for whatever reason, I would end up meeting another one. And then the same thing happened. Wouldn't work out that with that girl. Okay, it kind of sucks. And then I met another one. And all of a sudden, I proved to myself, I had this moment where I was like, wait a minute. Every time I'm like a little upset that it doesn't work out with a girl, I end up just meeting a new girl. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. So I really don't ever have to be that upset. Of course, naturally it might happen, but instantly I can be like, oh, but I'm always meeting new girls because I'm being proactive and I'm going out and I'm implementing the right steps to do so. Like, oh. And it was like this moment, it all just came clear to me. And that was when I had this abundant mindset. Now, of course, it wasn't just like, boom, abundance mentality, all good. No, of course, it's still evolving. It's something that you work with. It's something you have to remind yourself of on a weekly basis. But still, at the end of the day, this was the beginning to me being like, yes, it's possible because I have this skill and I have the energy to go out there and meet new women. And it will happen again. And if it doesn't work out with her, it will happen again. If it doesn't work out with her, it's going to happen again. And it's going to happen until you don't want it to happen anymore. Or maybe until you meet someone that you really like. Whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you want to do, what kind of relationship you want to have. Maybe you don't want a relationship for a while. Okay, you'll still find another girl. There's so many out there. And they want to meet you. You just don't know it yet because maybe you don't feel that secureness inside of yourself. And so I ask you, like I usually do, to take the steps to go out there. This is more of a motivational episode. I want you to step into the abundant mindset by actually taking action and proving to yourself. Because again, even me saying this on the podcast episode might not do much for you. Okay, just saying it over and over in your head doesn't do it for you. You need to go out there. You need to go out there and you need to learn how to do it. How to do what? Meet women, meet the kinds of women that you want, and be able to get them attracted. Now, just a quick note too. I know a lot of guys are like, well, why do we got to do all the work? It's always us. We're sitting here, Trip, you've got 250 episodes in your podcast and 500 videos and all this stuff to get her to like you. That's not what it's about. Okay? This is not what it's about. It's about each party doing their own individual work on each of themselves, coming together, giving each other the opportunity to meet each other, and then seeing what happens from there. Women do their part, men do their part. I actually had someone write a comment on a YouTube video recently that said, I don't get it. We got to do everything. Why isn't she doing anything? She doesn't have to learn how to approach, how to attract, how to flirt, da 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 da. Here's my answer to that. My answer to that was, has a guy ever broken up with a girl in the history of time? Of course he has. Many and many times. So what does that prove? Well, that proves that there are things that women do in a relationship and in dating that will attract you or not attract you. Happens all the time. You want to go approach a girl that you're interested in? Probably because she looked really cute that day. She probably put some work into that. Maybe you go up to a girl and you talk to her, you realize she's really shy. Maybe you don't like that. Well, maybe she didn't put the work in, but maybe she's just naturally shy and that's just not what you're into. Maybe you go up to a girl and she's just so dull and boring. You can barely even talk to her. Well, you're not attracted. Maybe you're dating a girl for a while and she gets really clingy and needy. That's a big mistake. You become unattracted. So don't think that there aren't things that women aren't doing out there to work on getting you and keeping you. It's happening. You're just so focused on yourself and all the information that you're absorbing that you're not thinking of what they're doing. Trust me, they're doing things too on their end. And when they don't, that's when you become interested. And that's when you end up breaking up with them or not even starting a conversation with them. You just are probably in a place where maybe you're a little bit newer and you're not getting any girls. So you're thinking that they hold all the power when in reality they don't. And neither do you. No one's holding any power. It's about everyone, like I said, coming together, being as best as they can and working on attracting everybody, right? So it's circular energy happening between the female and the male dynamic. You got to remember that. So don't worry about them. Worry about you for now. Do your best. Go out there. Practice. Get this down. Teach yourself by proof to step into the abundant mindset. And then that's where the magic happens. All right, this is Trip signing off. Hopefully you learned a thing or two, and I'll talk to you on the next episode.